If you are moving energy through visualization, which is imagination, then you may not realize it, but you are connecting kinesthetically to your physical body and you are doing some body awareness actions. Now learn my system and you will learn to connect better and your energy work will immediately take a quantum leap.
Yes.
And I can teach it to 5-year. I've taught 4-year-olds how to do this successfully. I've taught people in the 80s successfully. Everybody can learn it, no exceptions.
I wondered, would you mind for the people who are, because I agree with you 100% on the energy work, because, since I've been using your method and taking your course, like I've had, not only have I had the astral projection experience, but I'm getting more clairvoyant experiences. Feel that I'm accomplishing energetic healing. And so this is now a part of my spiritual practice, the energy work, the independent of the astral projection. That's a perk, but there's just the intrinsic value to doing the work, I found. But I wondered, would you just share for the people watching maybe just a short demo of how to actually connect with your energetic body?
Sure, I can do this. Okay, rest your elbows comfortably and raise your forearms and hands up
And
with
I'm
your
gonna do
fingers
it with
spread
you.
gently wide. Yep. So your fingers are spread
Okay.
nicely. I mean, they've got to be relaxed. Don't force them. Now, I want you to make fists a few times and spread your fingers wide, make fists, spread them wide. And I want you to feel that in your body, the sensation you're causing by making fists. And now stop with your fingers relaxed and spread gently. And I want you to focus your feelings on feeling that residual sensation you've just caused in your hands. Relax and just feel that. There's almost like this warm glow from the exertion there, residual feeling. And now I want you to keep feeling your hands, only your hands. And I want you to feel for every tiny little air movement in the room around you. Every little air movement, the tiniest little movement. And I want you to feel for the temperature changes. So you want to feel for the tiniest little temperature change, whether you have a warm breath or a cool draft in the room, every little air movement and air temperature change. And just keep doing that. Close your eyes and just feel your hands. Just be fully aware of your hands, your fingers, your palms, the whole of your hands. Just be aware of them. And keep feeling your hands. Just relax, don't tense up. Just keep being aware of them. And keep doing this while I talk. You will notice if you stay aware and keep feeling for changes in air movement and air temperature, just for a couple of minutes, the sensation you originally caused in your hands by making fists will intensify. It'll progressively get stronger and stronger. Keep focusing on them. You'll feel a little buzzing, a little tingling, a little prickling, a little warm sensation through your hands. Some people feel a cool. You'll feel all these weird little sensations growing. Just keep feeling your hands. Feeling your hands. Feeling the sensation in your hands intensely. You'll notice now, everybody listening, that something is happening in your hands. There is a sensation in both of them which is growing. You'll feel they start to feel quite odd if you're not used to energy work. Now, just doing this, what we've done now, can activate some of your major chakras. You may feel a bit of a pulsing or a throbbing in your forehead or your heart or your throat, anywhere. And that's because what you're doing here, as you keep feeling your hands, you're increasing the amount of energy that's going into your body through your arms, which goes directly into your higher chakras. So you're providing more energy by doing this. But now stop doing that for a second and just rub your hands together, clap them a couple of times. Make fists again, spread your fingers wide, and hold your hands out in front of you, palms up, with your elbows relaxed. And what I want you to do, I want you to focus on the fingertips of your right hand, and take your right hand, physically lift it up here, and I want you to drag it over your left hand, stroking the left hand, fingertips to wrist, stroking the palm and underside of your hand with your right hand, stroking. Now, I want you to memorize the feel the touch is causing in your left hand. Focus on your left hand only while you stroke the palm and underside of the fingers of your left hand. Focus on the feeling you're causing. Then in a moment, we're going to stop physically touching it, and you're going to move just to feel alone. Just to feel the touch that you're causing. Right, stop physically touching now. Put your right hand to the side and focus on your left hand and continue moving that feel, that movement that you cause with the touch of your fingertips. Moving it from your wrist to your fingertips through the whole substance of your left hand. Fingertips to wrist, backwards and forwards. Move the feel through that hand. You're moving a point of body awareness, focus, through your left hand. Fingertips to wrist, backwards and forwards, about half a second each way. And you will notice the sensations that started while we're sensing both hands will start increasing. Fingertips to wrist. It's very easy to do. Feeling your hand, moving the feel. Fingertips to wrist. Now stop that again, and with both hands, quickly make fists again a few times. Spread your fingers. Put both hands out, palms up in front of you, side by side, and both hands together simultaneously, fingertips to wrist. Move the feel through both hands simultaneously. It's very easy to do. Fingertips to wrist through both hands simultaneously. Fingertips to wrist. And you will notice the sensations will start to increase in both hands. Usually one side of the body is more active than the other. I don't know why, but one hand may feel more sensations in it than the other. And if you keep doing this, no matter, even if you're barely grasping this, keep doing it. Spend an hour doing this, because as you do it, the sensations will get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, depending on your starting point. Some people will be feeling intense sensations in their hands now, to the point where it becomes very uncomfortable. Your hands will be buzzing, prickling, tingling. Other people will feel just a vague movement. The vague movement is all you need to feel. As long as you move that through both hands, through the substance of both hands, fingertips to wrist. While you're doing this, you can look at it, follow the movement with your eyes if you want. It's fine. You can have your eyes closed or open. It doesn't matter. Fingertips to wrists. And the more you do this, the more you will feel. And relax.
Thank you. I love the energy work.
Just the exercise we've done there can activate major chakras like your brow chakra, and you may have energy activations in you over the next couple of days, because just that amount, the extra energy that allows into your body can release blockages and that in chakras. So you can get some weird things coming just from that little bit, which shows you just how powerful this method is. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. And I was feeling it. I was feeling in my throat chakra at one point, and in my heart
Good.
also at one point. So, and so in addition to strengthening, you're kind of learning to pull more energy in, to process more energy in, I guess, with
Well,
the energy
definitely
work.
the main conduits into your energy body, uh, with which we exchange energy with our environment, physical and spiritual, are your hands and arms. If you put your arms out wide, you feel you energy flows into you and out of you through your hands and arms.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've just effectively cleared the hands, which are usually quite blocked in people if you don't know my system. And now energy is able to flow automatically into the higher chakras. This primarily goes into the heart, throat, brow, and crown centers here. And you could call this like air energy, air prana, air chi. Now, when we work on the feet, doing exactly the same thing as we did with the hands, you work on the feet. Your body absorbs what you call planetary energy, planetary chi from the earth, and the energy fields of the earth come up through the lower chakras and mix in with the higher chakras. We also have another energy comes down from above into the head, into the crown chakra. I call that cosmic energy, which flows down, and there's an exchange of energy from the hands and arms, the feet and legs. Energy flows into and out of. With the legs, for example, you will find there is a natural flow of energy comes up your right leg and the exact half of your body. Imagine your body is cut down the center with a razor blade, exactly up the half side of the body and down the left side of the body. And there is a constant flow of energy. We normally don't feel it because it's not strong enough to cause sensations. Now, it's similar with the hands. You get energy flowing into and out of the hands and through the head as well. Energy is both coming in and going out. So, obviously, because these are the major conduits into the energy body, exercising them a little bit is helps to improve the flow of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the chakras and other parts of your energy body. You exercise them. And a really good analogy to look at this is look at fitness, bodybuilding, and exercise. You know, if you want to be an athlete of any kind, you need to get in exercise. You need to pay attention to your body. You need to look at it, look at the muscles, look at any fat you have, look at how it functions when you're exercising, and you start doing all kinds of things, taking protein powders and things, and you timing your exercise sessions and your heart rate and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the science. You're applying intelligence to developing your physical body and its muscles and its tendons and joints, and they all develop and make you stronger and fitter. We're doing exactly the same thing to the subtle energy body, which is enmeshed within the physical body and around it. Exactly the same principle. You exercise it. So with this system of energy work, whenever you meditate, you do a little bit of energy work, or a lot if you want to. You can't overdo it. And this becomes a part of your practice. You're exercising your spiritual body and its chakras. And you will find, Barbara, as you continue your current course, including energy work and affirmations, very important too, into your daily spiritual practices, you will evolve leaps and bounds, way beyond where you would ever have believed you could. And you just need to allow this and keep doing the work every day. You know, spend an hour meditating, doing some energy work every day, and you know, we can talk again in a year's time and see where you are. You'll be
I
quite
like
amazed.
that.
Yeah.
And I think another
These things best come on slowly. Spiritual development, like developing clairvoyance and things like that, best come on slowly. This gives you a chance to become acclimatized to it. Too much too soon can be scary. It's frightening because it's the unknown and it kind of shocks us. So,
right, and I think we need time to integrate, these experiences too.
yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask you with, I lost my little ear thing. Well, I know you've taught thousands of people your method, And what do you see as what characteristics do you see in people who succeed with the method? What is the proper attitude to have towards it?
Well, everybody succeeds with the basic energy work, no exceptions. I've been teaching this for many, many years, and I've learned the percentages. Now, giving the correct instruction is one thing, and the practical exercise, like the hand brushing exercise, and that is crucial. I always do that first off with any group. Now, when you are teaching this, as a teacher's tip there, while you are teaching it, while I'm teaching, I'm actually doing exactly what I'm showing you to do, because I've learned there is a kind of charismatic transfer. There's a connection between, you're listening to my voice, we are connected on a certain level, and I can transfer the ability to you. It's kind of like Reiki, how you get an attunement. I mean, you can learn this on your own. Most people can learn this on their own just out of a book, but it's easier. You pick it up quicker if you have somebody teaching you that is also doing it while they're teaching it. Because I'm doing it and I'm kind of projecting that doing into students. And so you learn it a lot faster. But beyond that, there's always a couple of people that don't get it. And I go up to them, stand in front of them, fingers touching theirs almost, and I have a 30-second, 1-minute session with them, just bouncing the energy through the hands, and I move on to the next. They get it very quickly, usually within a minute. Oh, I feel it now, and the next one. So I get 100% of the group doing this, no exceptions. I occasionally get somebody, really, who maybe has ill health, and they don't feel a lot, but they do feel they do feel something vague. They're moving through their hands, but they don't get a lot of sensations, because with the illness, usually the energy body is shut down a lot. They've got a lot of stuck energy on their hands. But having worked with people like that over several days at a time in workshops that last a week or more, I find in all cases, the sensations they start to get increase every day. That gets a little bit more sensitive. So everybody can absolutely do this, this is the key, the cornerstone to all energy work. Now, if you go along to an excellent form of energy work like Qigong, which is Qigong they call it, or Qigong, Chinese energy work, where they do the famous hugger tree pose. If you go along to the first Iron Shirt Qigong class, for example, they will teach you these poses and things to do on that. Now, they tell you, go away and practice these for 1 hour a day for a year. And after a year, you will start to feel significant energy flow in your body. And this works. 365 hours of teaching. Now, that's one thing. Now, but if you come to me and you spend 30 minutes learning the basic energy work system of how to move energy through your hands, fingertips to wrist, then the extension from your fingertips to your elbow, to your shoulder, backwards and forwards through the arms, and then various other parts of the body. If you can do that for like 30 minutes, one session with me, and then go to a Qigong class, you will feel major energy in the first session. You've just saved yourself 365 hours of practice.
Yeah.
You will be up there to be moving energy and equal to some of the masters and teachers there. And this is your first session. And I've had people do that, which I've instructed them to do. And it's the same with any system that teaches visualization as a method of moving energy. Now, visualization on its own, keep in mind, visualization is imagination. They're exactly the same thing. But that is usually explained poorly. Visualization, they expect you to see something like a little TV in your mind. Now, using visualization to move energy on its own is a very, very poor method. It doesn't work unless you have some kinesthetic connection there working with that. Now, if you go to large groups, I've done this many times, you go into a group that are practicing a visualization-based, typical New Age energy work, they call it. You know, imagining, visualizing a bright ball of energy moving up your legs and then opening the chakras like little doors, imagining and visualizing it, right? Now, if you ask the group and they honestly reply, how many of you here can actually do the energy work? How many of you is actually feeling any sensations? Actually, it's actually working. And you find if you talk to people, it's about 25% of the group. Now, probably another 25% are getting a little bit, some sensations here, but they're not really sure. A full 50% of your group are getting nothing.
Right.
They're trying to follow the visualization with their imagination, but they don't know that visualization is imagination because they haven't been told that. Now, any child, a 4-year-old child can imagine perfectly. A 90-year-old person can imagine perfectly. So perfectly down to if they're imagining a person, they can imagine every hair on that person's head. Perfectly. Now, if you know that and then you start doing visualization, knowing that you probably won't see anything visually because only a clairvoyant would see that. And it's unfortunate if the teachers in your group are clairvoyant and they're seeing what they're imagining, what they're visualizing, and they just assumption here again that everybody can do this.
Right.
They don't know that they have an ability that most people don't have. So the end result is 5 minutes instruction with this group from me, and everybody is on the same level. Everybody can do it using the visualization method. A little bit more instruction there, another 5 or 10 minutes there, and everybody can connect kinesthetically to their physical body and move the field. Tactile imaging, we call it there. Body awareness, tactile imaging. You're moving the field through the body. Because what you do, when you move the field through the body, you focus on your right hand, for example. When you focus on that, you have a point of body awareness focused on that. Now, just that focus alone can cause sensations of energy movement and activity activating the hand, as we did by focusing on both hands, feeling for the air. Exactly the same, just focusing on it. But now, what happens then? The sensations of this is caused by higher than usual levels of bioelectrical activity. You are stimulating the physical nerves in your physical body. That's what causes the sensations. It's scientifically provable with an EMI machine. You put yourself under it and you can actually see the body awareness moving under there, wherever you want it there. Now, you focus now if you move that point of body awareness, instead of focusing on your right hand, you move it, imagining, say, an energy ball, but you're moving the field from your fingertips to your shoulder, back up and down through your right arm. What you're doing there, where that point of awareness is moving, is causing a kind of a ripple wave effect, because where your point of a body awareness touches as it moves past stimulates the physical body's nerves in the area. And as it moves on, it stimulates the rest. So what you've got there, as you move the body awareness, you've got physical nerves activating, charging up and discharging, charging and discharging. That's what causes the physical sensations. Now, on another level, below the surface, on the subtle energy body level, you are directly stimulating the substance of your energy body, your subtle energy body. And so this allows you to come to grips with, actually lay hands upon your energy body and your chakras. You can actually directly stimulate that. Because if you use this method on the site of a chakra, you will activate it. No two ways about it. You won't fail. Most people will feel it if they're activating a chakra. Some people won't, because the activation is not strong enough to cause physical body nerve activation in there, which will cause sensations. And but you know, you have to start from somewhere. If your energy body is fairly shut down, work on them, and you will find your energy body, arms, legs, and different parts of the body, and then your chakras will start coming online, activating one at a time. Some people, of course, 5 minutes of doing this and they have a full Kundalini awakening or
Right.
something. It happens.
Yeah.
I have people raise Kundalini in my classes, sometimes completely unintentionally, just doing an energy work session,
Right.
particularly if you're doing energy work in a deeply relaxed state, because the energy body is more active and proactive. When you're deeply relaxed, it will activate much more strongly.
I
Boy, can I talk.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I did want to ask you too if you could share. Your books are great, and I worked with your books for some time before I took the class. Now, to me, taking the class really pulled it all together. But what are some of the ways that people could learn to work with your method? Where would you recommend that they start?
Well, start with my books. If you can get hold of them, they're all available as eBooks. I even have a Spanish version of Astral
I saw
Dynamics
that.
available as an
Yeah.
ebook as well. And there are some translations. I have a huge amount of material on the internet, which is free. Um, if you go to astraldynamics.com/home or find my site, you'll find my old website with hundreds of articles and tutorials. My main site today, if you go there, is astraldynamics.com, where we have a lot of material there, and we also have programs which are paid for. This is how I make a living, selling programs and things like that to pay the rent and stuff. But these are video-based programs with sometimes 30 hours plus of video in them, careful instruction on how to do these things. We have one on manifestation and self-healing. We have a program called Astral Projection Mastery, which is an extensive course that teaches everything from the start, the energy work, the relaxation, astral projection techniques, and sage advice on how to put it all together. And we have another program out there called Raising Kundalini, which goes through the whole thing and teaches you how to raise your Kundalini. And we have more courses coming. But yeah, my online resources are there. You've got the premium ones, of course, or you've got all the free articles and tutorials I've got on my other website, which people find valuable if you if you don't want to buy the programs. And you'll find a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. On my YouTube, just do a search on me, and you'll find my YouTube channel, Robert Bruce, and you'll find it there. And yeah, it's kind of everywhere that I can put my stuff out there to teach it, because it really is life changing, particularly the energy work. I mean, you may not have an interest in energy work, but you may not have an interest in astral projection or anything else, but everybody is interested in the energy work, because that is it's like the fundamentals for everything. Whether you want to go into healing, and I teach healing as well, is you need to work out the energy body, and that will improve the flow of energy through you. That will improve your chakra activity, so your healing becomes more powerful. Anything that you do becomes more powerful if you're using energy work. But yeah, astraldynamics.com. I also have a popular forum, which is astraldynamics.org, O-R-G.
Okay.
And that is a free community forum, and there's a lot of information there as well. And yeah, I'm quite approachable. You can even do consultations with me with Skype video.
Oh.
You'll find that on my astraldynamics.com website as well. You can book an appointment with me.
Okay. And that is, I mean, I do find you were talking about earlier about learning from people who have actually done it. And this is one thing I have found with working with you, I've had experiences as I'm going through this that I wouldn't, without having that ability to ask you, I wouldn't really know what that experience meant. So, having that personal guidance is really helpful too. I have
Which
found.
is actually a good point there you're raising. The It has long been known for hundreds of years that if you want to develop a psychic ability, the best way to do it is to hang around people that already have that ability.
Yes.
you want to become a spiritual medium, hang around with mediums, spend as much physical time as you can with them. If you want to learn astral projection, spend time with people that can astral project. The old saying, it rubs off, is very, very true,
Yeah.
because that charismatic transfer I was talking about happens. And on this sense, the energy of other people affects us, and our energies affect them. Now, given what I do in my life, you find even my cat and my dog is spiritually very evolved, because they evolve and they start having astral projections and that. I see them in the astral all the time. They follow me around. And so that's another way of looking at it. You get some of that connection through books and that. You get more through video and audio, and you get, particularly if you have a person-to-person connection, like we're talking now. So you and I are connected. There are chords which have formed between us when we started talking.
Right.
And you get it on a telephone as well, which connect us. And when we connect with someone like this, there is a flow. It's like high pressure, low pressure. You have an equalization occurs. Some of your talents and abilities will flow into me and some of mine into you. A good example of that, I lived with a guy, a housemate, we shared a house together, friend of mine, Donald. He is a very gifted psychic, non-visual psychic, you know, that knowing, very, very good. And I'm a visual clairvoyant. Now, after we'd lived together for about 2 years, we noticed he started to have astral projections. He started to have visions, visual visions. I started to get the knowing thing. It's triggered my psychic abilities on that level, psychically just knowing there. You see the trade-off was occurring between us. You know,
Yes.
his abilities affect passing to me and mine to him. You get the same thing with ordinary people. If you have a partner, you spend a lot of time up close and personal. You will find there's a sharing going on there energetically. And true is, some people are good for your health and for your well-being. Some people are bad for you.
Yes.
You'll find people who are not in sync. You spend time with them and you'll find you'll start getting sick. You'll get illness, you get problems, you get bad luck. Luck is very important. Like a thermometer, you find if you're with the wrong person, your luck will change.
Yes.
I mean, that person may have a family curse on them from hundreds or thousands of years ago, which is still active today. So you spend time sleeping with them and that will start affecting you, as an example.
Yes. Yes. I found that too, with luck and with other things, definitely. So, you know, there's so many things we could talk about, and
Yeah.
we are about out of time. Maybe, you know, I do have a few more questions. Maybe we could do this again at some point, because you've really
Yeah, sure.
got so
Yeah.
much to share, you know. And but I really
Well,
enjoyed talking about the energy work. I find it fascinating.
it is. Yeah. If you're not interested in anything else, that should be key, because whatever you are interested in, that will help. I actually I used to do a 7-day residential workshop at the Feather Pipe Ranch in Montana. Wonderful place
Oh.
there. And so it can be said that I can talk for 7 days without repeating myself.
That's amazing. And, you know, and your books too, you know, in addition to being practical guides, you know, which I really appreciate, you know, your approach, that it's so pragmatic, but also, you know, I found it, particularly in astrodynamics and in your other books as well, you know, the metaphysical content, you know, is very, and you go through it very quickly, but you know, it's very comprehensive, you know, and I really found them a great, you know, a great learning tool. I've enjoyed all your books.
Oh,
So
thank you. I hope other people feel the same way. Well,
yeah,
Astral Dynamics in particular has always been my major bestseller.
has it?
It outsells all my other book by a factor of 10 times.
You know,
Um,
this your psychic self. Well, and the energy workbook is great too. The psychic self defense, I think, is a book that a lot of people could benefit from. Um,
oh,
I
definitely.
enjoyed that book.
Yeah, there's a lot of me and my experiences and that in there. And it teaches you some incredibly valuable skills because the people just don't know how. It's called Practical Psychic Self-Defense Handbook for a reason, because everything is practical.
Yes.
Because one of the things I've learned, that when people come under any kind of psychic attack or neg or demonic attack, whatever it is, you are so disturbed by this, your mind, it's difficult to read a single paragraph and take it in a book. You don't have time to study and find out ways to defend yourself. But practical is also very, very, very simple. For example, in the beginning of that book, I have a quick start guide, which is a list. If you're too disturbed to read this, do this now. Get in the shower.
Yes.
Because even the strongest attack by a major demon, for example, which is terribly painful, you can barely walk and are terribly distressed, your mind is completely polluted. If you jump in the shower, it stops instantly.
The running water.
Because
Correct?
because of the running water and the strong electrical earthing which is present there. And negative entities, spirit beings, the bad ones there, will not allow themselves to be exposed to a strong electrical earth and to the energies relating to running water. So they stop. Now, it may be waiting for you in the hallway while you're under the shower, but it gives you time to think and plan what you're going to do. Now, the book, it works with this way. It may be practical to leave the house. I mean, never stay in a house while this is happening unless you can stop it. So, anyway, I'm sure you get the point. It's very, very practical.
It is.
If it ever happens. And this is like learning first aid. People do the like attracts like thing. Oh, I'd never read that book because that would attract it to me because I'm focusing on that. That's absolutely illogical. It's completely wrong. It's just taking the whole like attract like things way too far, because to a ridiculous level. This is like telling me, oh, I won't do a first aid course because that way I'll be attracting injured people to me all the time.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. That's all negative stuff. I don't want people with spurting arteries and heart attacks and that. It's ridiculous to think that. We learn first aid so that if you are injured or somebody's injured, you know how to put pressure on a wound to stop it bleeding. Right. You know how to do CPR. You know the basics of what to do. And it's extremely useful. Now, people who learn first aid may never encounter someone who has a heart attack. But if you do, if somebody you love, your partner, your child, someone is electrocuted or something and the heart stops, you haven't learned first aid, so you've got to wait till the ambulance to get there half an hour. They're dead. Yeah. You can't help. But if you have a little bit of knowledge, you do a 4-hour first aid course. Thump them on the chest, do some CPR, breathe into them, massage their heart sort of thing, and very often you'll bring them back.
Yes.
And you've just saved a life.
Yes.
It's the same with psychic self-defense. You may never have any problems because you are so wonderful and your psychic defenses and angels around you are so protective and that. You may believe that. You could be right. But is everybody around you, your children, your friends, children of your friends? Children suffer terribly from this sort of stuff. Other people around you are not protected. So if anything happens to them, what do? You don't know.
Right.
You don't know spiritual first aid. Sorry, it's a passionate topic with me.
It's an important topic, and I mean, I'm a pretty positive person, but I've lived in 2 houses that definitely had a energetic presence, that we were aware of, and my way of dealing with it was to just kind of ignore it, which probably wasn't the best way because I think it did affect us on a level. But, it happens. And I don't think that people necessarily, I'm sure there are some, aspects of resonance, but I don't think people necessarily draw that. I honestly feel like it can happen to anyone. And
it can do, particularly the atmospheres and, negative entities and that spirits in houses. And they're very, very easy to take care of. 99.9% of the time. Fumigation with frankincense, for example, is one way. I mean, get a censer which is a little bowl with a bit of charcoal burning some granules, and you swing that to get an airflow. It produces huge amounts of smoke, and you fumigate the house out until you can see thick smoke hanging in the air. And you keep doing that, and you'll find the entities will vacate because that is very repulsive to them. You know, there are other substances you can use which are much more powerful, like red hot chili peppers. You burn that, and the smoke from that is that's a swim goggles and a wet towel job for that one. But all the way up to sulfur powder, which produces poisonous gas, but it is deaf to negative energies.
Interesting. Yeah, well, when we moved into this house, I did do, because this house, the house we're in now, some of the people who had lived in it had very chaotic lives, and so I chose to do a full, clearing with this house, and knowing now what I know, I did that before we moved in. So,
huge amount of frankincense is, rather than get other people involved and priests and mediums and things like that, which can sometimes cause more problems than it actually solves, always start out with a huge amount of frankincense.
okay.
I mean, we come under psychic attacks here quite regularly, every few weeks. Given the nature of the work that I do, that I'm doing healing, exorcisms, and things like that occasionally, you make enemies. Some negative entities are very vengeful and they attack me. So as soon as it does, break out the incense with a censer, smoke the house out. And if it happens in an evening, I might smoke the house out 5 or 6 times, like every half an hour. So you keep the smoke hanging in the air. But, the next day, over the next day, it all fades away and goes away. It's very, very effective. Things I do myself, put some spiritual music on and things like that. If you do a couple of banishments, and which is also my book, a pentagram banishment is the equivalent of using a shotgun. It's very, very effective.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has
But
been...
that's another topic. I'm drifting into it again. Sorry about that.
I know. Well, that's my fault. I brought it up, but
You can always edit that out.
No, I won't, because I think it's important for people to know that, because I think that book is an important resource for people. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up.
If you're getting into the most innocuous thing, just personal development and healing, for example. Now, when you're giving healing to people, you connect to them. You cannot give healing without connecting to them. A healer needs to drop their shielding in order to connect with their patient. Now, often you get people that have serious negative entities with them. There even cases of possession and that. And as I said, some of these beings are very vengeful and they will attack the healer. So, and that does happen. You really need to know the basics of what you can do to protect yourself, because it's like cancer treatment. Early detection, recognizing the symptoms of what's happening and taking early action, spring clean the house, fumigate it, things like that. Very, very simple and very effective. They're very simple things that won't offend anybody really, depending on describe it, but it's just very, very effective. As I say, it may not happen to you, but it could happen to a friend of yours or someone you love.
Yes, and it's better to be prepared, I think. This has really been. I want to thank you so much for sharing your information and your wisdom. And I do want to mention just again your books. There's Astral Dynamics, and that is the focus there is on, it's a very metaphysical book, but I guess you would say the primary focus with that is astral projection, although there's a lot of great metaphysical content about alternate dimensions and things that you have learned through your projection, through your experimentation. And then the energy workbook is called...
Energy work.
Just energy work. Okay, I got that right. And then the practical psychic self-defense handbook. Those are the 3 I'm familiar with. And
in my 3 major books.
Yeah.
I also have another major book out there called Mastering Astral Projection.
I actually have that too. Yeah.
the 90-day guide, which is a big one. And there's actually an audio book out by the same title. It's called Mastering Astral Projection, the audio CD companion. It's a completely separate product.
Mm-hmm.
This is audio guidance. It teaches you with voice guidance meditations. There's like 6 CDs in there. It teaches you energy work, talks you through learning the energy work demonstration, and then evolves onto working on your chakras, astral projection techniques. And yeah, it's a complete system for learning astral projection and energy work.
I have that as well, and I've used it. I was started to use it, and then I took the course. But I'm using that a little bit in
That's,
conjunction with the course. So,
yeah.
and finding it helpful. You have to get some of your books on Audible.
Yeah, I keep threatening to do that. I've actually been training myself, in microphones and sound. It's a lot to
Mm-hmm.
learn
It is.
because to do it yourself. And then, of course, I've had to spend years training my voice because you have to be able to, enunciate carefully. It's got to be very consistent to do a right audio book.
Right.
I suppose I could pay an actor to do it, but there's something to be said for having the author's own
I
voice.
like when the authors read their own work because they have that connection with the material, and it's more than just
Yeah,
emphasis. It's you feel the connection with the material. I find, um, but that's my
yeah,
personal
definitely.
preference. So,
But that is definitely on my to-do
well,
list, doing
good.
more books because modern people in the modern world don't have time to read,
It's
but they
challenging. Yeah, could
often
be.
commute for a couple of hours to work each day. So there's plenty of time there if you've got the audio books. Mind
Hmm.
you, a computer will read a book to you.
Yes,
If
and your
if you
books.
get ebook versions of my books
Yep.
there, you can tell the computer to read it and record that.
I do have I have two of your books, I think, on my Kindle, and that has the option to have it read to you. So, and the voices, the Kindle voices are not bad. Some are better than others, but
Yeah.
it's very listenable. So, well, I want to thank you so much for your time. This has been great. I had a couple questions we didn't get to, and maybe we could do this again sometime. And
Yeah, anytime.
thank you.
I love radio.
Yeah, yeah. You're a great guest, and thank you so much. And
My pleasure.
thank you, everybody. That this is Barbara Graver and Robert Bruce, and you can learn more about Robert on his website at astrodynamics.com. So thank you, Robert. Thank you so much.